What's going on? Here's what I want to talk about today. I built this neck, okay? It's my fourth guitar, but I've never built the neck before. I've always built the guitar and then ordered the necks from StewMac. But I always wanted to build my own. So I get on Facebook or YouTube, and there are quite a few videos on how to make a neck. And they last about 10 minutes. Nobody really tells you the information you need to make the scarf joint and exactly where the, where the butt needs to be and where all that stuff needs to go. And so I was stuck trying to figure a lot of things out myself. So I found one video that goes through and they get it to the point where they cut this joint out right here, and then the video just kind of drops off. They don't really talk about the rest of it. There's lots of videos about how to carve a neck out. There's lots of videos showing you cutting the scarf joint and gluing it back together. But it doesn't give you the information you need in order to just run out into your shop and go do that. So I want to do a series where I build a neck, but I'm first going to talk about the one I already built. It's not that good. It's got some mistakes to it. So I want to talk about those mistakes, how I overcame those mistakes. I think we're going to get to use this neck. But in the series, I'm going to build an entirely new neck. Just like this one. I got a jig on the way to cut this out. But I have to rasp down these edges right here and make this heel into what it's supposed to look like. Anyway, so that makes this neck. But I'm gonna tell you how I made this neck. I'm gonna tell you the things that I did wrong on it. And then throughout the series, we'll build an actual neck. And I'll talk about the actual numbers involved. I'll show you the jig I made to cut the scarf joint. We'll talk about all that stuff. And then maybe you can start building your own necks and not have to buy them. I can't afford to buy them anymore. So it kind of forced me to learn how to do it. But the cool thing is if you don't buy your own necks, the only kind of neck that you can buy that I'm aware of is just the mahogany neck. Well, this one here is a hard maple. I don't recommend that, by the way. That's one of the things we'll talk about. Anyway, this one's hard maple. Learn how to make your own fretboards. I bought this fretboard from StewMac for about 40 bucks. You can make your own fretboards with the jig for cutting the slots. And then you can go to a wood store and get any kind of wood you want and get something that's really figured. And it just gives you more options. StewMac has the options that they have. By the way, I'm wearing this, let's get this out of the way. I have a StewMac apron on. I only wear it because I'm in the shop. My wife bought it for me for Christmas. So I'm not a StewMac, nothing. I'm not affiliated with them. They only know my checking account. They get a lot of my money, StewMac does. So, but like I said, I'm learning to build my own necks in this video, and I wanted to just go over the first part of this neck is what we're going to talk about. So all of this stuff right here, the fretboard and all that stuff, it's all just two-sided taped on there right now, just so I could look at it and see what it looked like. This head plate, this is just two-sided tape down there. I don't want to break it taking it off, but anyway, so we'll get into a lot of the numbers and all that stuff when we go to build the other neck. Well, hey, there's Gunner. What's up, Gunner? But what I want to talk about specifically is I wasn't sure about the whole neck angle thing, and I'll get the little tool I used. I use this little guy right here. It's just like a little angle finder. I set it to the inside here to 15 degrees, which coincidentally is what Martin uses for their neck angle. This part right here is what we're talking about right now. This neck angle, Martin uses a 15 degrees. So I set my tool up for 15 degrees, put it on the piece of wood, marked my angle, did the cut. Didn't come out at 15 degrees. Didn't work. I've done it several times. I've tried to do this whole angle. I've watched people just run it through the jigsaw or the bandsaw like it's nothing. They do a couple scrapes with their tool and pow, they got a neck going. Man, I'm gonna tell you what, it ain't that easy, but it ain't that hard. Okay, so my neck angle is not the same as Martin's, but that doesn't mean that my neck angle is wrong. Okay, I ordered a set of templates to build. The neck angle is 10 degrees. Martin being 15 and Gibson being 17, 18 degrees. So I'm 13 with this one. I tried to hit 15. I didn't hit 15, but once I measured it all out after everything was done, it's all said and done. This one's a little bit high, you know. I take it to 13 and it's right on. So I'm a 13 guy. That's what we're gonna do it as. And I'm gonna show you how to set up a jig with a chop saw that I saw on a YouTube video, and I just kind of eyeballed everything until it went, and then I ended up with this. So it does work, and I'll show you exactly what I did to do that. It was really cheap to make. In fact, I used the scrap wood out of this piece of maple to make the jig. Okay, so this neck was about this piece of wood, 20 bucks. And I got a jig along with it, okay? So, first thing you do, take a 4-foot piece of wood, chop off the 1 foot. That's this guy right here. Take off 12 inches, take it down to 9/16 inches. I'm just throwing these numbers out there right now, and I'll explain to you where I got them from in another video. Okay, I don't want these videos to be 300 minutes long, but I'll tell you where I got the numbers from, and it's the only place that I can find the numbers from. Try to Google it. You know, cumbersome, the stuff that comes up is crazy. So, and it's not going to tell you anything except that Gibson has a 17 degree neck angle and Martin has a 15 degree neck angle, and all the numbers to try to come up with, you know, well, how long is it from here to here? How do I find that out? You know, here's a fretboard. That's cool. Well, where does the fretboard go, right? It might seem simple to some of you guys. It might seem a lot more easy. I might be overthinking it. I do that. But it doesn't seem that simple to me. The whole understanding how all this stuff comes together. So we're going through it. So cut this piece off 9/16 of an inch. Then we go over to our jig and we cut our 13 degrees, because that's what I am now, I'm 13 degrees. We cut our 13-degree neck angle on this piece. Then we cut our 13-degree neck angle on the other piece that's left over where we cut this one off from. Then we cut from the end that doesn't have the cut, you cut off 3 5-inch pieces that become these, 1, 2, and 3. And they will be glued to the base of this like that. That's your 3 pieces. Your whole, this is 7/8 of an inch right here is what we start with. I should have said with that. And then these are 7/8 of an inch, and there's 3 of them, so it makes for a total of 4 for this whole heel, okay? You get tracking? Now, what we gotta do is flip this over, and it makes that neck angle, and you glue it up, okay? And I'm going through these steps really quickly. Remember, we're gonna go through them one at a time. We're gonna talk about everything in the next videos. This is just, I wanna get into this really quick and just show you like what I did wrong, because there's some stuff wrong. It looks pretty cool. I mean, it looks good, but I did some stuff wrong. So what you're supposed to do now is glue the blocks. So now I've glued the blocks right here, and I glued this guy up. And we'll go over how to do that, because I'll tell you what, right now, that was a whole lot easier said than done. Gluing that angle together is not fun. It's not fun. It slides all over the place and gets kind of wonky. So then once I did that, I laid my template on here and drew everything out. And you got to draw out this piece right here. This is your mortise and tenon joint. You got to draw that piece out so that you don't cut it off. You cut it off, you're done, because now your neck is going to be too short. So you have to make sure you leave room for that mortise and tenon joint. Now, you can see right here on these lines, this line right here and this line. I started to do this by hand and just chunked it up because the tool I ordered isn't here yet. I'm impatient, I'm an idiot, I shouldn't have done it. So I got it all jacked up, so I just glued, the reason it looks like this is I just glued new pieces on here. So when I get my new jig, the router bit will just kind of clean all that up and make it the tenon it's supposed to be. So anyways, back to this thing. So now I put my template on here, draw it all out, cut this dude out right here, cut this guy, you know, cut this hole, cut it off right here, right? Once you do all that, then you're supposed to take it over, after it's glued up, you take it to the table saw and you want to cut this slot for your truss rod. Now, you see a lot of people use a router and stuff. The video that I watched, they used the table saw and it looked like it worked really good for them. But anyway, so you take and you lay it down this way and run it through, and then take it, turn it around the other way and push it through, and you should end up with your slot. Well, when I did that, I ended up with 3 slots because I didn't have it over close enough to the line, I guess. So when I went through the first way and then I went through the second way, it left like an 1/8 of an inch, strip down the middle of it. So I had to go and clean that out with a chisel because I didn't want to send it through a 3rd time. But I cleaned it out with a chisel and it made the slot too wide. So now when I do put the truss rod in there, I'm gonna have to shim it. Mistake number 1. This was mistake number 1, I guess. This was mistake number 2. So now my truss rod doesn't fit. So I just have to shim that. It's not that big a deal. It's not ideal, but it's not that big a deal. Of course, I can't put the truss rod in. I can't glue this on until I get all this mess took care of, because I'm going to end up routing all this off to about that line right there. This guy right here is 5/8 of an inch. I'll tell you how I know that in another video. So we just have to trust me on that. We're going to go over all that. So you get all that stuff done, and then you flip it over and you get to doing all this. You know, you got to do all the shaping. This curly maple It's like concrete, man. I'm gonna tell you what. Mahogany or a soft maple or something like that. This stuff does not want to budge. I tell you what, it's a workout. It really is a workout. Another thing I did, see how, man, that looks kind of cool right there, right? Well, you know what that is? That's brown glue. I used brown glue to glue all, you know, I just had Tight Bond, but I had Tight Bond brown. So when I'm gluing up like sides and things like that, the Tight Bond brown works really good, because then the glue marks don't show. Well, wasn't really thinking about it. Glued up this white piece of wood with brown glue, thinking, oh, it won't be that big a deal. Look at that. See that right there? That's brown glue. So that's where that joint came together right there. And because the glue is brown, you're gonna forever see it. So now I have to put a plate over that. Another mistake. So anyway, that's where we're at with this neck, okay? All this, right now, it looks like it's gonna work. Maybe. But we're gonna build a neck in the next series. I don't know how many videos it'll be. I don't know. There's a lot of steps to it. And I don't want to just make one. I was tired of finding one 10-minute video that showed me how to make a neck. I wanted a whole series, because I can't afford to buy a class. I don't want to buy a class. The guy that I'm learning to be a luthier from, the one thing that he has not done is made his own necks. So this is all on me, trying to figure all this stuff out. So I know you've been looking. You found this video, and you're probably hoping that I will definitely tell you the truth about everything. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not an expert. This is my 4th guitar. The other 3 have turned out really nice, but I bought necks already pre-made from StewMac. So this is my first time building my own neck, in case you missed that in the first part. So that's what we're gonna do. Hang with me. Hit like and subscribe. Share it with somebody you know is building their own stuff. If they're, you know, you got a guy that, I've got a buddy that's going through the same thing. We'll get through this together. All right. Thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, all that stuff, and we'll see you on the next video. So we'll call this one episode 1. The next video will be episode 2. We're gonna get the wood cut and get ready to run it through the table saw and start getting it milled up. All right, we'll see you on episode 2.